Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring myself, a rubber duck of war, testing out some of the new Beastmen units alongside XMD's very own Ice Power, and we are going to be using the forces of the Vampire Counts up against the Beastmen. Now, usually, this was generally considered an unwinnable matchup for Beastmen, or one of their worst. It was pretty damn terrible. Triple Blood Knights really could slaughter them, but Triple Blood Knights have some pretty big problems now going up against the Beastmen, so I'm actually going to try and something out a little bit different, just to try to counteract some of the new Beastmen units. But let's hop in here and have a quick little look at the builds. So my forces, it's pretty simple stuff. A load of zombies dotted all the way along, backed up by Graveguard as well as the Sternsman, and one unit of Cane Race, because that magic damage, of course, or magic immunity to basic damage, is always pretty nice up against the forces of the Beastmen. We also have a Claw of Nagash, which is very, very risky now, as you'll be finding out, because of the ridiculous amount of single entity monsters Beastmen now can bring and field to the battlefield. We have one Banshee, again, coming in with that ethereal element, a Terrorgeist up in the sky, and a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, Helm of Discord, looking to try to counteract box Beastmen builds, and yes, you heard that right, Beastmen can now box build. We have Heart Piercer, Helm of Discord, Invocation Nehek, Gaze of Nagash, as well as Invocation of Nehek. And we'll be looking to try to Gaze of Nagash down my opponent's caster. As for my Beastmen opponent's build, we have Ungor Spearheads dotted along, double Bestigor in the central pocket, supporting this character and monster blob. Sons of Goros, as well as Tentacles of Weapons just in the back. And leading the line, we do have Torox the Brass Bull himself. A creature of ruinous anger, flesh, and blood, but he seems to be coming in completely naked, not bringing any of his items. I actually think the brass body item is very powerful, but he's not going to be bringing it here today. We do have a couple of big beasties. We have the Jabberslife on the right-hand side, and this is one of the main reasons that Beastmen now can fight quite effectively up against the undead forces. Aura of Madness causes damage to combatants in a pretty big radius once they're below 50% leadership. Luckily though, Vampire Count forces often are below 50% leadership due to crumbling, so it helps quite a bit, plus it spurts bile blood, applying poison and damage to nearby enemies, which of course is quite tasty up against the Counts. On the left-hand side, though, we have the Blood Brute Behemoth, a regiment of renowned Gorgon who looks absolutely ferocious and furious to be here. He does have a little bell, let's ding ding ding, give that a nice little ring. But yeah, he's a really cool looking model with all these big old Wolverine claws on him, 4 arms, anti-large. He will dumpster a Terrorgeist. He will put it in the trash can. His biggest weakness is he only has 50 armor, but up against Vampire Counts, who cares? They're not going to be shooting you with missiles anytime soon. More importantly, the Regiment of Renown does gain scaling damage. So the weaker an enemy target is, the more damage it is going to take. And this does mean that in the lane game, he is very, very powerful if he's left alive till then. We do have one of the new characters, a Wargor on foot. He is far better on his Tuskor chariot at the moment, but it's cool to see him included. He's a little bit tanky and is just your basic support character. We also have a Brave Shaman of Beast who has been hit by Gaze and Nagash here, coming in with Flock of Doom as well as the Curse. I think this often could be seen as a new pairing because the Manticore Summon is now 20 Winds of Magic, which is very, very high. We're going to be bumbling forward with our forces. I was kind of taking in the awesomeness of my opponent's build with the Blood Brute and the Jabberslife, but now it's time to get down and do a bit of battle. Trying to line up some breath attacks on the Bestigors. I want them off the field as quickly as possible. Zombies shall be intercepting the Ungor Spearheads, but Tentacles of Weapons could easily float in and do some really nice damage. The Jabberslife looks so funny when it kind of walks forward. It looks like it really shouldn't be here. It's like trying to fly but can't. I guess its wings are all ripped up quite nastily. Opponent going for a bit of a nice flank overload on that side. We need to whip around to try and face him where possible. Chucking my Banshee though, just to try and get some free real estate. But likewise, my opponent is doing the same. And Flock of Doom is such a scary spell now. And it really is catching at the Graveguard zombies, doing some big damage straight out of the gate. While coming with a big breath attack down the line on the Bestigors, roasting them and doing some really nice damage down to about half health on those guys. And the Cane Race are looking to surround these targets. But the Jabberslife does do magic damage, which is another cool element that the Beastmen now have. They had such limited options for magic damage before. This gives them another one as well. Zombies are going to be forcing themselves in. The Claw of Nagash doesn't really have any good targets. I was hoping for more Bestigors and Ungors, which it could really drain down. We're going to assassinate the Brave Shaman on this flank, hopefully, but the Bestigors are here to try to retaliate. And we can see another Flock of Doom coming in, doing huge damage to all our troops. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord does charge in himself. Heart Piercer is popped. as well as the Helm of Discord. But it is such a hard fight now. The Blood Brute really can protect Beastmen Lords from character gooning with flying troops like this. And as you can see, the Infantry Corps not faring too good, particularly the Curse coming down as well. I was a player who used the Curse already, but a lot of people apparently didn't use it. Big Breath Attack does come down onto the Sons of Goros, doing some nice work there. But the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is getting beat the snot out of by the Blood Brute. You can see that Dragon Vampire Lord lost about a third health with that engagement, and this is a really scary triple threat. I think Torque's maybe not even the best pick here. I think coming in with the Doom Ball maybe slightly better in this matchup, but the Vampire Lord barely escapes with its life, going to have to lick its wounds there and come back into the fray. However, we're certainly not out of this yet. We can cycle charge down a lot of these troops. Brave Shaman gets hit by a breath attack, and should be enough to break it off the battlefield, you would hope. Terrorgeist is going to be cycle charging in the Blood Brute Behemoth. But with support, it certainly is a pain in the butt. And you can see the Jabberlife just bounces in, going to be draining all of these nearby troops when they get below 50% leadership. So the Cane Wraiths right now will be taking damage, other troops not so much. Jabberlife is getting danger low. It's probably the better target to try and snipe out, being a bit more, less kind of punchy back, I suppose, than the Terrorgeist. And the Terrorgeist now is taking quite a beating here from the Blood Brute. It's trying to fall back through my own troops, but every hit it does take staggers it, and it is really starting to get up into the sky. Now going to allow the Centaurs to come in and try and surround it. Invocation Heck does go down. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord does follow up with a swipe onto the Jabberlife, trying to devour its soul. Bounce power is pretty even at the moment, but we are running out of ground troops to help protect our flyers, who are not having the best time. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord down to 2000 HP, and with that scaling damage, the Blood Brute, if he connects to some shots now, is going to ruin the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord's day. It looks like we are going to be dropping a Helm of Discord, just trying to help us escape, but those Centaurs pinning us down on the ground. Taurox is following up with some big old swipes, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is biting the bullets here. And with him going down, there's not much hope for us, I don't think. Terrorgeist is trying to cycle charge where possible. The Claw of Nagash just isn't very good up against the new style of Beastmen play. I don't know if it was ever that amazing. I was hoping it would be good against box builds, but there's so many single entity monsters. I generally think this matchup may have flipped on its head. Coming from one of the worst Beastmen matchups in the game to being really quite maybe in their advantage, definitely even out at a minimum, but possibly all the way up into their favour. Now, I'm not saying new Beastmen stuff is OP or anything. I actually think, considering how most DLCs go, it's actually relatively balanced, but it is certainly going to be pushing them up quite heavily from their abysmal F-tier current position, all the way up to possibly even A-tier. We'll have to wait and see how it does play out, though, and people respond to the new units and start to drag them down. I'm just been trying to kill this Jabberlife here because I want it dead, because I've done so much damage to it, but it's somehow survived. Down to 1.2k health. Claw of Nagash is going to be charging in there, but that magic damage will be too much for me. And once again, man, Ice Power has really been beating my butt over the last couple of days doing these DLC units. These had the game slightly longer as well. I'm still trying to figure out the meta, but Beastmen can indeed now box build, which is super scary. It's something they just couldn't perform before, and if they tried it, they would almost certainly lose. But now that Flock of Doom is even more powerful, combined with some of the large creatures, yeah, Beastmen are scary now in a box-in fight. They can even do this type of tactic up against people like the Lizardmen, but will suffer from being kited. Shooting the Beastmen is probably the way to go. Well played to Ice Power, fantastic player and indeed a YouTube content creator. Definitely check him out. He's in fact, by the time you guys see this, this is just before he's about to do a best of 7 up against Anticity on the channel. If you didn't see that, feel free to go check it out. But yeah, these are big beasties. Oh my god, got so much damage value. We'll get to the damage dealt and damage value of all these units in just a second. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up just below the video. Also, leave a comment on what you thought of the battle and the new glorious Beastmen units. Do you think they're going to shift the meta quite as much as I think they probably will? Do you think this matchup is still heavily counts favoured and I just played it garbagely? Or do you think, actually, you know what, I may be onto something and Beastmen could be pretty damn scary here with the big beasties, because I honestly think the Blood Brute Behemoth can be any of the single entities for the counts. One-on-one, of course, but you can try to goon him out with multiple entities and one go. There are links down below in the description if you'd like to support me via Patreon, via my Discord as well. You can submit replays there, get involved in the tournament scene, events that I host. I haven't put on many recently because I'm on early access. I can't get people onto it, unfortunately. But as soon as the DLC drops, which should be later this week, we'll be able to see getting those back up and running. There's also a link down below to my Games Planet account. If you'd like to pre-order this DLC, buy Total Warhammer 3, any game on Steam at a discounted price, you can do it through there and save yourself a few pounds. But yeah, on to the damage dealt and damage value. Let's go through the Beastmen first, because that's really what we want to try to showcase today. And Torx the Brass Ball, 2,585 damage value. I'm actually doing a testing unit video on him right now, so I'm not sure if you guys are going to see that before or after this. But yeah, he can certainly handle himself in combat. Going to be able to clear out Graveguard, and he's not easy to goon either, so he could be relatively meta here, but I think the Doom Ball as well can be quite nice. Wargore suffered, but he really shines when he's on his chariots, to be honest. The Brave Shaman Beast doing some nice work. As for the Jebusite, this is one of its strongest matchups, I think, because it synergizes well with the Beastmen box style of approach to this matchup now. 2,445 damage value, 13k damage dealt and 87 kills. Yeah, that's a scary beastie, particularly considering how much we try to focus it down. That was the beast I tried to assassinate first with the Dragon Vampire Lord and the Terrorgeist, and it simply did not work. The Blood Brute Behemoth, 2,833 damage value, basically full health. This guy has regen when in combat, so basically the hunger that vampires get, he gets as well, giving him some good durability. And he, without doubt, is going to be the main man in this matchup. He is so good up against counts, because his biggest weakness really is shooting him, and they simply cannot perform that. Centaurs did a fantastic job as well. The great weapons, only 500 on the basic unit. The Sons of Gorus, though, 2,000. I think they most likely engaged with the Cane Race, slaughtering those guys. Bestigors still struggle, to be honest. They don't have immune to psychology or any major changes to them. So they're good if you're going for a box build, but really they're just here to die and allow all your single entities to kind of carry the day. As for myself, the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord got nearly 2,000 damage value. It's not too shabby on him. We didn't really cycle charge as best as we could with him and the Terrorgeist. The Terrorgeist performing absolutely abysmally here. 8,400 damage value, despite getting some nice breath attacks. Banshee and the Ground Forces really did struggle. Just not many good targets for them to deal with. Even the Sternsman, only 633 damage value. Yeah, it is scary going up against Beastmen in this matchup now, but we'll have to wait and see how it does, of course, pan out. Nobody panic. People always panic when DLCs come out. I remember when people told me the Kai was going to be OP and Snotling Pump Wagons, and we never basically see those guys. So we're going to have to wait and see how this meta does form. Beastmen certainly are nowhere near on the level of Greenskins, even still, I think, although Greenskins have been slightly debuffed, but they're certainly far better, and they have a lot more fun tools to play with, which gives them a lot of options in different matchups. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.